The alien's blade hovered 3 inches from Carter's throat when her eyes locked onto his forearm. She froze. Carter didn't move. Couldn't move. The pressure suit's breach alarm screamed in his helmet, but all he could focus on was the creature pinning him against the shattered bulkhead. Her skin shimmered like oil on water, muscles coiled tight beneath armor that seemed grown rather than worn. 4 fingers gripped his collar with enough force to crush steel. But she wasn't crushing, she was staring. The tattoo ran from his wrist to elbow. Black ink, simple lines, a circle bisected by 3 marks that anyone from Earth would recognize as utterly mundane. A design he'd gotten drunk on shore leave, something his sister had drawn when they were kids. The alien's weapon clattered to the deck. She released him so suddenly he stumbled. Her mouth opened, revealing rows of crystalline teeth, and she made a sound like grinding glass. Not threatening, questioning. Carter's hand instinctively covered the tattoo. Around them, the station groaned. Fires burned in zero gravity, spreading in perfect spheres through the oxygen-rich corridors. Somewhere close, human screams mixed with alien war cries. The battle for Research Station Kepler had been going for 6 minutes. Humanity was losing. The creature stepped back, her head tilting in a gesture that felt almost human. She raised her own arm. Carter's breath caught. Carved into her forearm, the scar tissue raised and deliberate, was the same symbol. Exact. Perfect. How do you have that? Carter's voice cracked through the helmet speaker. She didn't answer. Couldn't answer. But her body language shifted from predator to something else entirely. She gestured sharply toward the corridor behind her, then at him, then at the symbol again. Urgent, insistent. An explosion rocked the station. The deck plates buckled beneath them. Emergency lighting painted everything red and wrong. The alien grabbed his arm. Not violently this time. She pulled him away from the breach, away from the section that was venting atmosphere into the black. Her strength was absolute. Carter had no choice but to follow or be dragged. They ran through corridors slick with blood. Human and alien both. She moved with purpose, navigating the dying station like she'd memorized every junction. Twice they passed her own kind locked in combat with human Marines. She didn't stop, didn't help either side. She just kept running. Kept pulling Carter deeper into the station's core. His mind raced faster than his feet. The tattoo was nothing. A childhood memory made permanent on a drunken night. 3 lines in a circle. It meant nothing. So why did she have it carved into her skin? And why was she saving his life? The alien shoved Carter into a maintenance shaft and sealed the hatch behind them. Darkness swallowed everything. Carter's helmet lamp kicked on automatically, casting harsh white light across her face. Up close, she was terrifying. Her eyes had no pupils, just swirling patterns of silver and black that seemed to move independent of each other. When she breathed, her chest expanded too far, ribs spreading in ways human anatomy couldn't match. She pressed one clawed finger against his chest. Wait. Then she moved deeper into the shaft, her body compressing to fit through spaces that should have been impossible. Carter heard metal tearing, bolts snapping. She was ripping through the station's infrastructure like it was paper. His radio crackled. All units fall back to Hangar Delta. Repeat, fall back to Delta. We're abandoning station. Carter keyed his mic. This is Sergeant Carter Hayes. I'm trapped in... The alien's hand clamped over his helmet so fast he didn't see her move. She shook her head violently. Her other hand made a cutting motion across her throat. Don't transmit. Carter nodded slowly. She released him. The sounds of battle grew distant. The station's groaning intensified. Kepler was dying, torn apart by weapons that converted matter into light. Humanity's first deep space research station, built to study the anomaly they'd found at the edge of the system. That anomaly had turned out to be a doorway, and these things had come through it. The alien returned, carrying something that looked like a data core ripped from its housing, cables still sparking. She thrust it toward Carter, then pointed at his tattoo again. She tapped the core 3 times, emphatic. I don't understand, Carter said. She growled. That glass grinding sound again, but this time it carried frustration. She grabbed his arm, traced the tattoo with one claw. Then she pointed at herself, at the core, at the walls around them. Her gestures became more frantic. Then she did something that stopped Carter's heart. She pulled a small device from her armor and projected a hologram. Earth, spinning in miniature blue and green between them. But something was wrong with it. The continents were different, shifted, and there was text scrolling beside it in a language Carter had never seen, except he could read it. The symbols burned into his brain with meaning he shouldn't possess. Seed world, origin point, classification, extinct. That's not possible, Carter whispered. The alien switched the image. Now, it showed her world. A planet of purple oceans and golden land masses. More text appeared. Seed, world, origin point, classification, extinct. She cycled through dozens of worlds, each one labeled the same way, each one marked extinct. And beside each planet floated a symbol. Carter's tattoo. Different variations. Some with 4 lines instead of 3, some with the circle broken. But all clearly derived from the same root design. You're saying we're related? Carter's voice rose. That's insane. You're not even carbon-based. Our scientists confirmed. She cut him off with a sharp gesture. Then she pulled up another image. A structure, massive beyond comprehension. It floated in space, dwarfing stars, and it was covered in the symbols. Thousands of them, maybe millions. Each one different but connected. At the structure's heart, a single symbol glowed. Carter's exact tattoo. The alien pointed at him, then at herself, then at the structure. Her meaning was clear. We came from there, all of us. An explosion closer than before. The shaft buckled. Warning lights painted the alien's face in strobing red. She grabbed the data core and Carter's arm in one smooth motion, hauling him forward through the torn maintenance passage. They emerged into what had been the station's primary lab. It was a war zone. Bodies everywhere, human and alien. Equipment shattered, but in the center, still intact, sat humanity's pride and joy. The quantum relay, the device that let them communicate instantaneously with Earth, 11 light-years away. The alien dragged Carter toward it. She shoved the data core into his hands, then pointed at the relay. Her gestures were unmistakable. Send it. Send it now. They'll trace the signal, Carter said. Your people will know where I am. She nodded. Then she drew one claw across her own throat. She knew. She was sacrificing herself. Carter's hands shook as he connected the core to the relay. Around them, the sounds of combat grew louder. The aliens were sweeping through this section. In seconds, they'd reached the lab. The upload began. 15%. 20. The alien took position at the door, retrieving weapons from fallen soldiers, human and alien both. She was going to hold them off. 30%. 40. The first enemy appeared in the doorway. The alien who'd saved Carter cut them down without hesitation. Then another, and another. G was fighting her own kind to protect him. 60%. 70. Carter watched her move. Watched her kill with precision that spoke of training, of purpose. She wasn't just a soldier. She was something more. 90%. She took a hit. Energy burned through her shoulder. She didn't slow down. 95%. Another hit. Center mass. She staggered. 100%. The relay confirmed transmission. 11 light-years to Earth. The data core's contents were now in human hands. The alien collapsed. Carter ran to her. She was dying. Whatever her biology, he could recognize death when he saw it. She raised one shaking hand and touched his tattoo one final time. Then she pressed something into his palm. A small crystal, warm and pulsing. Her eyes met his, and somehow, impossibly, he understood her final message. They're coming. The real enemy. Not us. Find the structure. Find the truth. Then she was gone. Carter clutched the crystal as more aliens poured into the lab. He raised his hands in surrender, but they didn't kill him. They saw the tattoo, and like the first alien, they froze. The aliens surrounded Carter in a circle. weapons lowered but not holstered. He counted 9 of them. Each one different. One had skin like volcanic rock, another moved with too many joints, a third seemed to phase slightly out of sync with reality. But they all stared at his forearm with the same expression the first alien had worn, recognition, and something that looked like fear. The largest one stepped forward. Its armor was different, marked with symbols that might have been rank insignia. It spoke, the words grinding and harsh, but a translator device on its chest flickered to life. "You bear the mark of the architects." Carter's mind reeled. "I don't know what that means. This is just a tattoo. Something my sister drew." The alien commander tilted its massive head. "Your sister. How old is this design?" "She drew it when she was 7. 15 years ago. It's just random lines." The aliens exchanged glances. One of them made a sound like breaking ice. Laughter, maybe. Or disbelief. "Nothing is random," the commander said. "Show us your sister's image." Carter hesitated, then pulled up his personnel file on his suit's display. He projected the photo he kept there. His sister Megan at graduation, smiling, her arm around him. Every alien in the room recoiled. The commander's translator crackled. "She is unmarked. Yet she created the symbol. How? I don't know. When she was a kid, she liked drawing geometric patterns." Another explosion shook the station. "Closer now." The commander barked orders in its native tongue. The other aliens moved to defensive positions, but they kept glancing at Carter like he was a bomb that might detonate. "We are extracting," the commander said to Carter. "You will come with us. Like hell I will." The commander didn't argue. It simply gestured. 2 aliens grabbed Carter's arms with impossible strength. He struggled, but it was like fighting industrial equipment. They hauled him through corridors littered with the dead. Carter saw human Marines he'd served with, saw alien soldiers torn apart by human weapons. The battle had been vicious and brief. Humanity never stood a chance. They reached an alien landing bay. Ships that looked grown rather than built filled the space, their hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. The commander directed its troops onto the nearest vessel. Then the bay doors exploded inward. Human gunships poured through the breach, cannons blazing. The aliens scattered, returning fire with weapons that bent light into killing edges. Carter hit the deck as energy and bullets filled the air above him. A gunship loudspeaker boomed. "Sergeant Hayes, get clear!" Carter recognized that voice. Lieutenant Nina Cole, his commanding officer. She'd come back for him. The aliens were pinned down. Carter could run, could make it to the gunships, could escape. But the crystal in his pocket pulsed with warmth, and Carter remembered the dying alien's message. "They're coming. The real enemy, not us." He stayed down. The firefight intensified. The aliens were pulling back to their ships, taking casualties but maintaining formation. Professional, disciplined. Not the mindless monsters humanity had been told about. The commander saw Carter hadn't run. It barked an order. An alien broke from cover, sprinting toward Carter with inhuman speed. Bullets tracked its movement but couldn't find their mark. It grabbed Carter and leaped. They sailed 20 feet through the air, landing inside the alien ship as its entrance sealed behind them. The vessel lurched into motion immediately, tearing free from the dying station. Through a viewport, Carter watched Kepler break apart, watched human gunships pursue but fall behind as the alien craft accelerated beyond anything human technology could match, watched his chance at rescue disappear into the black. Lieutenant Cole's voice crackled through his helmet one last time. "Carter, if you can hear this, we're not giving up on you. We'll find you." Then static. The alien ship had jumped to faster than light travel, leaving human space behind. The commander approached Carter. Its translator hummed to life. "You are either the key to everything or the end of all things. We do not know which. But we cannot let your species have you." "Ha ha ha. Not yet. Not until we understand what you are." "I'm just a soldier," Carter said. "No." The commander gestured around the ship. "Look at us. 47 species came through the doorway. 47 civilizations that war with each other across 1,000 light years. But all of us carry variants of your mark. All of us have fragments of the architects in our history. It pointed at Carter's tattoo. You carry the complete symbol? The first we have seen in 10,000 years. And your sister created it without knowledge or training. This is not coincidence. This is not random. The ship's viewports showed stars streaking past. They were traveling deeper into alien space, away from everything human. Where are you taking me? To the Council of Marks. 47 species, one representative each. They will decide what to do with you. And if they decide to kill me... The commander's translator was silent for a long moment. Then we will learn if humans bleed the same color as the architects once did. Carter was led through the ship to a holding cell. Clean, climate-controlled, but sealed with energy barriers that hummed with power. Through the translucent walls, he could see alien crew members working. Some glanced at him with curiosity, others with something that looked like reverence. Hours passed, maybe days. Time felt strange at faster-than-light speeds. Carter studied the crystal the dying alien had given him. It pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. When he focused on it, images flickered through his mind. Not memories. Instructions, maybe? Or warnings. He couldn't tell. A crew member approached his cell. This one was smaller. Its skin covered in patterns that shifted like oil slicks. It pressed a device against the barrier and spoke. I risk execution for this, but you must know, the Council will not let you live. They fear the architect's return too much. Why are you telling me this? Because my grandmother bore a mark like yours. A fragment. She told me stories before she died. Stories of when the architects walked among us. When the 47 species were one people, living in the great structure. What happened to them? The architects? The aliens' patterns darkened. They tried to ascend, to become something more than physical. Most succeeded, but some remained behind, scattered across the seed worlds waiting. Waiting for what? For their children to remember, for the fragments to come together again, for someone to bear the complete mark. The alien pressed something into a slot beneath the barrier. A small device materialized on Carter's side. When they come to take you to the Council, use this. It will disrupt the ship's gravity for exactly 30 seconds. Find the escape pods. Find your way back to the structure. It's the only place you'll be safe. I don't even know where the structure is. The alien pointed at the crystal in Carter's hand. It knows. It will guide you. But you must survive long enough to reach it. Alarms blared through the ship. The alien's patterns flashed panic. They are coming. Remember, 30 seconds. Make them count. It fled. Carter palmed the device just as the commander and 6 guards arrived at his cell. The Council awaits, the commander said. It is time to learn what you truly are. The Council chamber was a sphere suspended in vacuum, connected to the alien mothership by a single transparent tube. Carter walked that tube flanked by guards, watching stars wheel around him. Below, a gas giant swirled in bands of copper and green. Above, the structure hung like a promise or a threat. He could see it now. The thing from the hologram. It dwarfed planets, a construct of impossible geometry that hurt to look at directly. Sections of it flickered between dimensions never fully solid. The symbols covering its surface glowed with their own light. His tattoo burned. The device the alien had given him sat heavy in his palm, concealed by his pressure suit's glove. 30 seconds. That's all he'd get. The sphere's entrance irised open. Carter was pushed through into artificial gravity. The chamber's interior defied physics. It seemed larger inside than outside, space bending around a central platform, where 47 seats arranged themselves in a pattern that matched his tattoo's design. All the seats were filled. 47 species, 47 beings that represented civilizations spanning galaxies. Some were roughly humanoid, others defied description. One appeared to be pure energy contained in a magnetic bottle. Another was a colony organism, thousands of small creatures moving as one. They all turned to face Carter. The commander guided him to the center platform, the human bearing the complete mark, as requested. A being that looked like crystallized starlight spoke first. Its voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "We have analyzed your genetic code. You are baseline human. No architect DNA. Yet he bears the mark," another said. "This one resembled a tree made of metal, its branches twitching. And his sister created it without knowledge. This suggests emergence." "Or contamination," a third voice hissed. The speaker was reptilian, covered in scales that showed moving images of dying stars. The architects could be influencing them, preparing to return through this bloodline. Carter's hand tightened on the device. "Not yet. He needed information first." "I don't understand any of this," he said. "Who were the architects? Why does this symbol matter?" The crystalline being gestured. The chamber's walls became screens, showing images that made Carter's mind strain. A single species. Beautiful. Terrible. They looked almost human, but perfected, enhanced, divine. They built the structure. They seeded 47 worlds with life. They guided evolution. They created civilization. And then they tried to become gods. The Ascension, the crystalline being said. They sought to transcend physical form entirely, to become beings of pure consciousness, able to reshape reality with thought alone. The images showed the architects gathering at the structure, billions of them. The ritual beginning, light that burned brighter than stars. "Most succeeded," the metal tree said. "They left this dimension, moved beyond our ability to perceive or understand. But some failed," the reptilian voice hissed. "The transcendent architects abandoned them, left them behind, transformed into something neither physical nor ascended, trapped between states." The images showed the aftermath. The structure, damaged. The failed architects, twisted and screaming, tearing through dimensions, trying to reach their departed kin. They became the Devourers, the crystalline being said, mad with grief and rage. They hunted down every remnant of architect civilization, every world that bore their mark. They consumed it all. The screens showed worlds burning, species dying, the 47 seed worlds abandoned, left to evolve on their own without architect guidance. "We are the descendants of their abandoned children," the metal tree said. "For 10,000 years we have hidden, spread across galaxies, fragmented our marks so the Devourers would not recognize us." Carter felt sick. "And you think because I have the complete mark, they'll find you?" "We know they will," the reptilian being said. "The mark is a beacon. You are calling them here even now." The chamber erupted in argument. Voices in dozens of languages, the translators struggling to keep up. Some demanded Carter's immediate execution. Others insisted he be studied. A few suggested he might be the key to stopping the Devourers. The commander raised its weapon toward Carter. Carter triggered the device. Gravity vanished. The 47 council members tumbled through the air, unprepared for the sudden weightlessness. Guards scrambled, trying to orient themselves. Carter kicked off the platform, sailing toward the chamber's exit. 25 seconds. He crashed through the iris, out into the connecting tube. The guards were already recovering. Their species adapted for zero gravity. Energy blasts scorched the air around him. 15 seconds. Carter pulled himself hand over hand along the tube's inner surface, pushing off with his feet. The mothership's entrance loomed ahead. 10 seconds. A guard caught his ankle. Carter twisted, driving his elbow into the alien's face. It released him with a shriek. 5 seconds. He burst through into the mothership's interior. Gravity returned with crushing force. Carter hit the deck hard, rolled, came up running. The crystal in his pocket pulsed with heat. It was pulling him, guiding him through corridors he'd never seen. Left, right, straight through a mess hall where alien crew members scattered in surprise. Alarms screamed through the ship. Bulkheads began sealing. Carter slid under a closing door, tearing his pressure suit. Emergency foam sealed the breach automatically, but he'd lost half his oxygen reserve. The crystal pulled him down, deeper into the ship. He reached a maintenance bay, and there, against all odds, sat a human escape pod, salvaged from Kepler, probably being studied by alien engineers. Carter sprinted toward it. The pod's hatch hung open, its interior gutted for analysis. But the engine core was still intact, the basic systems functional. He threw himself inside just as guards poured into the bay. The pod's manual override was still there. Carter slammed his fist against it. The hatch sealed. Emergency launch protocols engaged. Energy blasts hammered the pod's exterior. Carter strapped himself in as the launch sequence counted down. 3, 2, 1. The pod exploded from the mothership's hull. Carter's vision went black as acceleration crushed him into the seat. When it cleared, he was tumbling through space, the mothership already kilometers away. It was turning, weapons charging. They were going to vaporize him. The crystal burned in his pocket. Carter pulled it out with shaking hands. It wasn't pulsing anymore. It was screaming. Silent vibrations that resonated through his bones. And the structure was responding. Through the pod's viewport, Carter watched the impossible construct wake up. Lights blazed across its surface. Entire sections that had been dark for millennia flared to life. A beam of light shot from the structure's core. It passed through the mothership like it wasn't there. No explosion, no fire. The ship simply stopped, dead in space. Every system offline. The beam touched Carter's pod. Pain exploded through his skull. Information poured into his mind faster than thought. Coordinates, docking procedures, authorization codes in languages that predated human civilization, and a message, clear, undeniable. Come home, architect. The children need you. Carter's hands moved without conscious thought. He fired the pod's engines, adjusting course, heading straight for the structure. Behind him, the mothership's systems began to reboot. The council would be scrambling. They'd chase him. But Carter had a head start, and the structure was calling him home. The structure swallowed Carter's pod like a whale taking plankton. One moment he was accelerating toward the outer hull. The next he was inside. No transition, no entry corridor. Reality bent around him, and suddenly he was floating through chambers the size of cities, his pod tumbling without power through spaces that shouldn't exist. The crystal guided him still, not with heat now, but with certainty. A pull that felt like gravity but pointed sideways through dimensions his brain couldn't properly process. The pod crashed into something solid. Carter's harness snapped. He tumbled through the cabin, cracking his helmet against the control panel. Warning lights flashed. Oxygen at 15%. He kicked open the emergency hatch and pulled himself out into the structure. Breathable atmosphere rushed in. Warm, humid, smelling of ozone and something else. Something organic that had been dead for millennia but somehow persisted as scent. Carter removed his damaged helmet and breathed air that architects had last breathed 10,000 years ago. The chamber around him defied comprehension. Walls curved in directions that geometry said were impossible. Platforms floated without support. And everywhere, the symbols. His tattoo repeated in variations across every surface, glowing with soft bioluminescence. He walked because the crystal demanded it, through corridors that shifted as he moved, always presenting a path forward. Past rooms filled with technology that looked like sculpture. Past windows that showed views of space that couldn't all be real simultaneously. His radio crackled. Carter Hayes, the commander's voice. We are approaching the structure. 47 warships. You cannot hide in there forever. Carter didn't respond. He kept walking. The council has decided. You will be terminated. The structure will be destroyed. We cannot risk the Devourers finding us. Still Carter walked. Your species will be quarantined. Earth will be blockaded. No human will leave your system for 1,000 years. This is the price of your actions. Carter stopped. You're condemning my entire species because of a tattoo? We are saving 47 civilizations. The mathematics are simple. Then why are you afraid? Silence on the radio. Then what? You said the Devourers hunt anything with architect marks? But all of you have fragments. You're already marked. Already targets. Carter touched his tattoo. This complete symbol. It scares you for a different reason. You think it means the real architects are coming back. The commander's translator crackled with static. When it cleared, the voice was quieter. We fear what we do not understand. Then let me understand it. Give me time to figure out what this place is. You have 1 hour, then we fire. The transmission cut. Carter ran. The crystal burned hotter with each step. He was getting closer to something. The structure's geometry folded around him, corridors shortening, distances becoming meaningless. He burst into a chamber and stopped dead. The room was a perfect sphere, its walls covered in portraits. Thousands of them. Millions. Each one showing a different being, different species. Some he recognized from the council, most he didn't. But they all had one thing in common. Every single portrait showed a being with a mark somewhere on their body. Fragments of his tattoo. Pieces of the whole scattered across countless variations. And in the center of the sphere, floating in suspended animation, was a human woman. Carter's heart stopped. Megan. His sister hung in a field of blue light, eyes closed, chest rising and falling with slow breaths. She looked exactly as he'd last seen her 3 months ago when he'd shipped out to Kepler. Same clothes, same everything. Except for one detail. Her skin was covered in marks. From head to toe, every fragment of the architect's symbol that existed, flowing across her body in perfect geometric harmony. She was a living map of the complete design. No, Carter whispered. This isn't possible. You're on Earth. You're safe. She has been here for 3 months, a voice said. Carter spun. A hologram materialized. Not an architect. Something else. A being made of pure light, vaguely humanoid but constantly shifting. I am the caretaker, left behind to maintain the structure until the architect's return. The hologram gestured at Megan. She arrived shortly after you departed for Kepler. The structure called to her. She answered. Why? She's nobody, just a college student. She draws geometric patterns for fun. She draws what she remembers. The caretaker waved its hand. The sphere's walls changed, showing new images. Earth. But not the Earth Carter knew. This Earth had continents in different positions. Oceans, where mountains should be. And a massive city at the equator, built in the unmistakable style of the architects. 48 seed worlds, the caretaker said. Not 47. Earth was the first, the template from which all others were derived. Carter's legs went weak. You're saying we're the architects? You are their descendants. Billions of years of evolution removed from the original. But yes, the architects seeded Earth first. Let life develop naturally. When it produced intelligence, they guided it, accelerated it, made humanity in their image. Then where did they go? They ascended. Left Earth to seed other worlds. Created 47 younger species to keep humanity company in the cosmos. But something went wrong. The Ascension failed partially. The Devourers were born, and the surviving architects fled, abandoning all their children. The images showed the Exodus. Architects fleeing Earth in vast ships. Humanity, still primitive, watching from the ground as their creators vanished into the stars. But they left insurance, the caretaker said. They encoded their knowledge into human DNA. Fragments, pieces of the complete design scattered across your genome. Most humans carry nothing. Some carry tiny pieces, and very rarely someone like your sister is born carrying everything. Carter looked at Megan floating in the light. What is she? A key, a seed, a weapon. It depends on who finds her first. The caretaker's form darkened. The Devourers can sense her. They are coming. The Council knows this. That is why they wish to destroy the structure and everyone in it. How long until the Devourers arrive? They are already here. The structure shuddered. Alarms Carter couldn't hear but could feel in his bones began to pulse. The caretaker's hologram flickered. They have breached the outer shells. The Council is engaging them. Both forces will tear the structure apart, trying to reach your sister. Why? What makes her so important? The caretaker pointed at Carter's tattoo. Because she can complete what the architects started. She can finish the Ascension, but only if she has a guide. Someone who bears the mark voluntarily. Someone who chose it without knowledge or compulsion. Understanding crashed through Carter like cold water. My tattoo. I chose it. I asked for it. Yes, your sister drew the symbol. You made it permanent. Between you exists the only true voluntary bond with the architect legacy in 10,000 years. The caretaker extended its hand. Touch her. Complete the circuit. Let her wake. Carter hesitated. What happens if I do? She ascends, becomes what the architects meant to become, and she can choose whether to help humanity transcend or let the devourers consume everything. And if I don't, the devourers kill everyone. The council destroys the structure. Humanity is blockaded on Earth forever, and the architect's final gift dies unused. The structure shuddered again, harder. Sections of the sphere's wall began to crack. Carter looked at his sister, at the tattoo on his arm, at the choice that had seemed so simple drunk on shore leave. He reached out and touched Megan's hand. Light exploded through the chamber. Megan's eyes opened, and they were full of stars. Megan's voice came from everywhere at once, layered with harmonics that made Carter's teeth ache. "Hello, brother." She descended from the suspension field, her feet touching the floor without sound. The marks on her skin blazed with light, each fragment of the symbol pulsing in sequence. When the pattern completed, Carter felt his own tattoo respond, burning cold against his forearm. "Megan, what's happening to you? I remember." Her eyes met his, and he saw infinity behind them. "I remember all of it. Every architect who ever lived. Every choice. Every failure. I am them. They are me. We are becoming." The structure convulsed. Explosions echoed through impossible distances. The caretaker's hologram flickered. "The devourers have breached the inner sanctum. The council's ships are falling back. You have minutes at most." Megan turned toward the sphere's walls. They became transparent, showing the battle raging outside. Creatures that defied sanity tore through the structure's outer shells. They looked like the architects once, but twisted, stretched across dimensions, screaming in frequencies that shattered matter. And they were coming for Megan. "I can stop them," she said. "I can complete the Ascension, become what they failed to become. But Carter, you need to understand what that means. Tell me." She took his hand. Information flooded his mind. Not words. Pure understanding. The Ascension wasn't evolution. It was sacrifice. The architects had tried to shed their physical forms and merge into a collective consciousness. Most succeeded, becoming beings of thought that existed beyond the universe. But they had abandoned everything. Their individuality, their connections, their humanity. The ones who failed, the devourers, had clung to their physical forms too tightly. They became trapped between states, unable to ascend but no longer fully real, mad with the loss of their ascended brethren. "If I ascend," Megan said, "I can join the collective. I can bring peace to the devourers by showing them the path they missed. But I'll be gone, not dead, just beyond you, beyond everything we were." Carter's throat tightened. There has to be another way. There is. Her grip on his hand strengthened. "I can refuse. Stay physical. Use the structure's power to fight. But the devourers will never stop coming. And eventually they'll win. They'll consume Earth. The 47 species. Everything the architects created." The structure shook violently. The devourers were getting closer. "Or," Megan continued, "you can come with me." Carter stared at her. "What?" "The bond between us. The voluntary connection. It's strong enough to carry you through the Ascension. We can transcend together. Brother and sister, we won't be alone in the collective." The caretaker's hologram approached. "She speaks truth, but know this, Carter Hayes. If you ascend, humanity loses both of you. Your species will face the cosmos without architect guidance. They will be vulnerable. But they'll be free," Megan said softly. "No more interference, no more ancient powers manipulating them. They'll forge their own path. Another explosion. Closer." The devourer's screams reached the chamber, sounds that existed in dimensions Carter couldn't perceive but felt in his soul. Carter looked at his tattoo, at his sister, at the choice that defined everything. "The Council," he said. "They'll still blockade Earth. Not if I give them something first, Megan said. She gestured, and the structure responded. Energy gathered in the sphere's center, coalescing into a construct of pure light. The knowledge to hide, to fragment their marks even further, to become invisible to the Devourers permanently. They'll have no reason to fear humanity if the Devourers can't find anyone. And Earth? I'm sending a message. Everything I know, everything the architects discovered, humanity will have the choice we're making. Someday, when they're ready, they can decide whether to ascend or remain physical. But it will be their choice, not ours. The Devourers crashed through the chamber's outer wall. Reality tore open. Things that had once been beautiful poured through, reaching for Megan with appendages that existed in too many dimensions. Carter made his decision. He gripped Megan's hand tighter. Together, she smiled. The first genuine smile he'd seen since she'd awakened. Together, they began to glow. The caretaker's hologram bowed. It has been an honor maintaining the structure for you architects. I will ensure your gifts reach their destinations. The light intensified. Carter felt his body dissolving. Not painfully. It was like becoming music, like transforming into the space between thoughts. The Devourers reached them, and Megan's ascension pulled them in. Carter felt their minds, their grief, their rage, their desperate loneliness, 10,000 years of madness, trying to reach the collective that had abandoned them. Megan showed them the way. One by one, the Devourers stopped fighting, stopped screaming. They dissolved into light, finally ascending to join their lost brethren. Carter felt himself crossing the threshold. His body was gone, his individuality fading, but Megan's presence remained beside him, an anchor in the infinite. They ascended, and in the chamber, the caretaker completed its final tasks. It transmitted the hiding knowledge to the Council's ships, watched them receive it with wonder and relief, watched them disengage their weapons and withdraw. It sent the Architect Archives to Earth, every secret, every discovery, a gift for humanity to open when they were ready. And it powered down the structure, letting it go dark once more. In orbit above Earth, 3 months later, Lieutenant Nina Cole read Carter's final transmission. His voice, recorded by the structure before his ascension, explained everything. The architects, the choice, the gift humanity had been given. Tell them I'm not dead, Carter's voice said. Tell them I'm just beyond, watching, hoping they'll choose better than we did, hoping they'll find their own way to the stars. Nina looked out at Earth, spinning peaceful and blue. Across the planet, humans were discovering strange new knowledge in their dreams. Mathematics that solved impossible equations, physics that revealed the universe's deeper truths, art that expressed dimensions beyond sight. The architect legacy, awakening in humanity's collective unconscious. Nina smiled. We'll make you proud, Carter. We'll earn this gift. She closed the transmission and turned to her crew. Set course for deep space. Let's see what humanity can really do. The ship's engines flared to life. And somewhere beyond dimensions, Carter felt his sister's presence beside him in the infinite, watching humanity take its first true steps toward the stars. They had chosen transcendence. Humanity would choose its own